Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this very topical issue that has been evolving over the past 10 days. I am Gimbo Omar with you here this afternoon. We've been joined by Aisha Yesufu from London. Aisha, I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us at this time. You must have been watching the scenario that has been playing out in River State, in Port Harcourt to be precise, with regards to the what people call in quotes the father and the son. In this case, that will be Minister of the FCT, Yesom Wike, and his successor in the person of the River State Governor, Siminilae Fubara. Uh, these things, I remember sometimes back, you've really harped on the necessity to address issues as they are. But we want to thank you so much indeed for joining us now. Let's try to address some of those issues. Now, River State, as you must have known by this time, has been factionalized as a result of that feud between Wike and the governor of River State at this time. And it just resulted to the legislature, the legislative arm of the state government there having two factions. One loyal to Wike, the other loyal to Fubara. Now, how critical do you think that this division is affecting governance in River State?
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being with you. I think one of the things from the statement, the earlier statement that you made, where people are referring to this as a father-son kind of a fight. So that is a problem in all of that. We're talking about governance. It's not servitude. It's not people, dobaling and rankadeding other people. It's about those who are the people who are supposed to come in and lead states and lead countries and all of that. The biggest problem we've had in our country is the fact that when it comes to governance, it's seen more or less as a few who should be in control, and at the end of the day, they just keep putting in their stooges and they expect their stooges to do the things that they want in the way that they want it, not in the way that gives good governance, accountability, and transparency to the people. And so this has been a major issue. What is happening right now, of course, it has affected governance in a lot of ways. First of all, let's look at the fact that the State House of Assembly has been brought down. Imagine the billions that was used to build that. Imagine what would be used to replace that. That is lost to the people of River State. That is the money that should have gone to other areas where it's needed, being wasted on this whole fight of ego that is going on. Also, the issue you've seen, there's been a lot of resignation coming in from River State, where commissioners, appointees are just resigning left, right, and center. Focus that should be on how would the state be taken to the next level that it's supposed to be at has been taken away, and it's now bent on people who are fighting, and then people have to take sides. But looking also at the fact that we've had resignation from members of the State House of Assembly, that's quite worrisome. So that tells you indeed that there's no democracy. What we have, it's more or less like a monarchy going on under the rules of democracy. So one person is sort of like controlling everything, and that is not good for governance in any way. We need situation where people who are put into leadership position are put in there by the people and not by one person. And if you look at the statements that Wike has made in recent times, talking about the fact that, oh, he brought Fubara in, he brought all the people that have gotten into office in River State. None of them had to pay for form, nomination form. None of them had to use any structure. He was the one that literally almost single-handedly put them in those positions. That is worrisome. That is not good for democracy at all. And that's the reason why, as a nation, we're still grappling with so much insecurity, with so much bad governance, with lack of development, when we should be doing so well.
That point you just made mention now, very critical security of the people of River State. That one is just, I cannot overemphasize that because we do know that at the advent of all this brouhaha that is happening there, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, came out to make Wike and Fubara to sheath their swords. The president has done that much. Do you expect anything more, especially now that the INC president, that's the Ijaw National Congress president, Professor Benjamin Okaba, he is saying that he's upset with the president, that the president has just stopped at that. He had expected more. Do you expect more, Aisha?
Well, for me personally, Nigeria doesn't have a president. What we have is illegitimacy that is going on, and these are part of the things that have led to people doing all the things that they want to do and getting away with it. And so you find that where rigging happened, where people force themselves into governance, where there's no legitimacy from the people. These are some of the things. So I have no expectations from Tinubu, and so looking at the situation is to say the Ijaw people have a right to hold the River State governor accountable, and also to call Wike to order. Why do I say this? We need to get to a place, even when we are looking at our presidency and we're looking at our states, there's a sort of sovereignty that comes in within when you're talking about states in Nigeria. Whereas it's a state on its own, it's a federating state. So it's not like it's under the control or under the instruction of someone who is president, even if we have a legitimate president. I'll give you an example, which is digressing a little bit, but which sort of relates to it. Tinubu the other day had a meeting where he had said that, oh, on the issue of the Ondo State tussle that was going on at that time, that the deputy governor, the power should, the issues should stay at status quo as of then, before this whole thing. And one of the questions I asked was, what powers does he have? Even a legitimate president shouldn't have that power to be able to say, to subvert the constitution and say that, oh, let things continue the way it is. And that's always a problem. We want to make strong men rather than strong institutions. We have a constitution, and a constitution is a document that is binding on everyone. It's not about the person who occupies an office. It's about this constitution has laid down procedure of the way things are supposed to be, and that's what needs to be followed. And that's what the Ijaw nation should be looking at. The association should be looking at, the president looking at, and say, what does the constitution say about this kind of situation? Does the governor has a constitutional right to be able to make decision, or is it that he's answerable to a former governor who is now a minister in some kind of administration and all of that? So what we usually do as citizens, as people of Nigeria, is that we're always looking for strong men and strong women that will come in and take control of situations, rather than looking at lay down procedures, lay down laws, lay down rules, lay down registrations and acts that tells us what are the things that need to be done. These are the things that we're supposed to follow, not the issue of men and women, which is what has led to this problem in the first place, because it was one person using power to bring in someone into office that has led Rivers State to all of this problem that they've been having.
Aisha, let me quickly butt in there. Do you think that the situation in Rivers State today, with all the defections from the PDP to the APC and all the claims, I'll put it as that, the claims that the PDP in Rivers State is making now, do you think it has got the capacity to result in a state of emergency or emergency rule within that region?
I don't think it has the capacity to emerge to now to become a state of emergency. Why do I say that? Except if there's some sort of gimmick that will be going on to just, okay, like declare it a state of emergency, remove the governor, replace someone else and all of that. But it hasn't gotten to that. One of the things that we need to understand, and which a lot, and I think Wike himself is forgetting, is that there's a difference between being respected and being feared. So some people, when they are in office and they are being feared because of what the office entails and the power that comes into the office, it sort of gets into their head. They begin to assume that, how do I put it now? That they are the ones with that power. They're the ones with the cloud. They are the ones that are sort of like Omega, Alpha and Omega and everything. And then when they get out of power, they realize that it was never about them. It was about this. It was about the seat. And so they don't get that. Right now, there has been loyalty. It's been, sort of like divided. There are people, your people have resigned and all of that. Fine and good. When that happens, for example, those that are appointees, go and appoint other people and bring them in and put them in there. For those who have defected, who said they have defected, the law, and I'll refer us back to what Wike himself has said when there was defection, where he talked about that, and I totally agree with him on this case, that the law, the courts need to be assertive in what is this defection. Is it possible for one to defect to another party and still maintain that position? Because everyone was voted for based on it was the party that was voted for, not the individual. Because if you remember, when we go to the ballot, there are no individuals on the ballot, there are no names on the ballot. There's the parties that are represented there. So people have voted, or yes, people have voted individually, but based on their party. And if people want to now leave, then they should leave that. They should leave the seat and vacate the seat. But the law hasn't been be very mindful. Have not made a categorical statement on that, so we can't go with that one. But I do not think that it's something that can lead to a state of emergency, except if they want to be funny about it. But I think it's something like the governor has been going on. It's for him to be assertive, for him to use his constitutional powers and ensure that he gives his people good governance. Okay, am I still on? I don't know what's happening. It says host left, so I don't know whether I am still on or I'm the one that has dropped off. So I'm trying to see how this works.
We've been talking to Aisha. My apologies. We seem to have a massive network fluctuations. As you know, that we're in Nigeria, but
Okay,
we'll
I was
forgive ourselves.
I had
We'll forgive ourselves.
issue.
Aisha, you were at the point where we are making a critical point made known. There, could you continue?
Okay, so I don't know where you stopped hearing me from because I had concluded. So where did you stop?
Okay, you were right at the point where I heard the last thing you were saying. At the point where Wike should understand that there are powers, and he doesn't necessarily have the powers to, assume that he can lord over the affairs of River State anymore.
Oh yeah, so absolutely. So I was talking about the fact that yes, we can need to understand that there are executive powers, and these executive powers are protected by laws and the constitution. And also for him to realize that when he was governor of River State, there was nobody who told him what he was supposed to do. There was nobody who dared to come to him and sort of like tell him what should be done or what should not be done. And then so he has no right to try to tell anyone what should be done or what should not be done. And for me, I think Wiki has become a bit overbearing, and I think for the last maybe 16 years that he has been, maybe 24 years he's been in the public service, and over the time it has gotten into his head that he thinks he's so powerful, which is not. It screams of lack of emotional intelligence, because in using power you have to be subtle in using power. Don't be overbearing about it, because the worst that can happen, you push somebody to the wall, they fight you back. Then what else can you do? And so that's
Is he
exactly.
playing? Is he playing? Is he playing Godfatherism?
Oh, absolutely. That's what it looks like. He's playing Godfatherism. The same him that says that, oh, he doesn't believe in Godfatherism. It's not something that can happen. He has spoken about it. And let me just talk about something a little bit. The South region. It's not a region where Godfatherism would work as much as it has in certain other regions, because the South region, they're not into this oh, we have to respect you because you're older by on everything. People have their voices, people have their right, people speak on issues. So people have their stance. So you see someone, even the person is poor, he doesn't have anything, but he will tell you you're not feeding him, and the person will do the things that he or she can. And so that's one of the things I think he's really missing in the whole of this. And godfatherism, it's not the way to go. You can support, you can be there trying to get things that will work for the state. You can be there trying to, in terms of, being a power broker, in terms of what we work for the people, what we work for the state, ensuring that the people are getting the best. But when you come with this whole attitude of it has to be you in control, even when you leave office, then it's not going to work. Apparently, he didn't learn from Adams Oshomole, who tried to do that in Edo State. It didn't work. South region is a different region. It's not the kind of region where you will expect that you're going to get.
So if you go along that trajectory, what should then be the solution to this? Because some have said that perhaps the past governors of River State, the Odalis, the Amechis, Wike himself, should come together to sign a pact of peace.
I don't think so. They signed a pact of peace. What's that going to do? I mean, every election, pacts of peace are signed. What does that do? Aren't there violence? Aren't there all sorts of things? Aren't there people being killed? And so I think it's not just about going through the gimmicks of something and say, let's just get it done. It's actually about just focusing on what should be, what shouldn't be. We have processes, we have procedures, we have laws, we have a constitution. As faulty, as flawed as that constitution is, it's still our constitution. And within that constitution, there are laid down laws that people need to abide by. So this whole thing of saying, oh, the past governors need to come, we are still sort of like carrying power and putting it in the hands of a few rather than power in the hands of the people. What we want is power in the hands of the people. And the reason why all of this is happening is because in the first place, the power is not in the hands of the people. The people are not the ones who were decided. The people are not the ones who were allowed to decide whether they want to Fubara or they don't want to Fubara. There wasn't democracy. There wasn't internal democracy in what brought him up, and where people were allowed to come out and freely contest, and the first person was voted for, or whoever it was that the people wanted, they voted for the person, and then the person ran for office. That wasn't allowed to happen. So when you keep going back to these ex-governors and telling them to come and sign a pact, are they more than the citizens that are there? No. The citizens, should just focus on this and ensure that the constitution and the laws are followed. Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit of our host is having a little bit of problem with the network. So I'm trying to see. Please, if you're hearing me, just say something on the comment section so that I will know that I'm on. Because I look at it and I'm thinking, oh, as soon as it goes off, does that also mean that I go off? So please, yes, can you just indicate a yes whether you're hearing me? So I don't know whether this is still being broadcast live, but I'll continue to say. Okay, so while we wait for our host is to say, yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. I needed to hear that you're still hearing me. I think one of the things also that we keep on doing is that we keep trying to give power to a few people. And so these are the few people who are deciding the things that are happening in a particular place or in a particular, in our nation as a whole. That shouldn't be. We shouldn't allow that to happen at all. And what we need to do is that we need to be assertive in the fact that power must be with the people and not with a few people. Yes, go on, Gimba.
Yes, Aisha, I was actually trying to round this up because it's the Hamatan season now, and the weathers can be so erratic, and it's affecting our network.
Okay.
But we get your views on this issue, and we want to thank you so much indeed, Aisha Yesufu, a freedom fighter, and of course a civil rights fighter as well. We did see your ferocity when it was at the time of the NSAS protest, where you stood on the side of the people. We sincerely do thank you so much indeed for inflecting and reflecting on what is possible in River State. Now that you've said that, it's not very likely that we have a state of emergency in that place, even though the Ijaw youth otherwise. But I must sincerely thank you. And to our viewers watching, thank you so much indeed. Share this video. It's on Control TV. And we'll see you next time. I am Gimba Umar, and bye for now.
Thank you and bye.